Alright, so while I'm waiting on that tool to help take this apart, sorry, did some quick organizing of the garage here, cleared up some space there. Right now I am working on doing some cleaning on the parts that I do have off the engine. So first up I am doing the front cover here. See, I'm most of the way done now. Got the whole front and this side, but I also have to get all this back here, make it look all good. Cleanliness is next to godliness. Get that spot there. You know, no one will ever see this from the outside of the car, but if I know it's dirty, then I will not be happy with the car. I don't know. I just like to keep it all clean. But yeah, I definitely like to get back to taking apart the engine, but that's going to be a while, and then it's going to be a long time before I get the parts, probably, because I gotta pick up some more hours and save up for them. But for now, I'll be doing lots of cleaning. Tomorrow, I'm going to get the transmission out and get it just looked at, see what we can do about the shifter. I think I talked about that earlier, so for now just doing some cleaning of the one part that I do have to clean. Alright, so I didn't record any of it because I completely forgot, but we went ahead and got the transmission out. It's 4 bolts along the underside there. That's the transmission mount. You can see these are the rubber mounts, which I'm replacing because you can see them just like wiggling by hand, which is probably weaker than it should be. And then the axle goes right into the back here. And then there was, a few of these electrical connections, looks like 5 total. So I went ahead and got all those off. And then the engine just dropped out there. I left the mount and everything on, and this exhaust hanger. So we'll get those off. Cleaned the top half of it. As you can see, it's looking pretty nice. I should have taken a before video, but I was in the zone, so to speak. But you can see that's what it looks like not clean. And this is how we got it. I ran out of degreaser and parts cleaner, so I'm gonna get more at the store and then flip it over, do the underside. But yeah, and this is why I took the transmission out, this thing here. As you can see now, it's moving pretty freely. It's not returning to center though, because you can see the spring in there. Let's see if you can get a good picture of it. It's supposed to like wrap around the top side there. The other part of the spring just broke off. So it's just not springing. So we'll get a new spring in there. You have to get like this whole cube off, which I'm working on doing. You have to get this pin out somehow. So I'll need to do some more research on the forums on how to do that. But yeah, this thing was just full of sludge and chunks of metal. It had some like bushing chunks in here, and that part of that spring that broke off, that was wedged behind there. But now it's actually rotating freely. I think I got it on video, one of my previous videos, but shifting it was like clunking all over the place. But now it's just back and forth, nice and smooth. So that's what we like to see. Get a new spring in there, that'll make this return to center, and it should be good as new, which I'm very excited for, because my previous Rx-7, my first gen, had the same issue. The shifter was just all messed up, super clunky. So we'll fix that, get a new spring in there, clean the underside of the transmission here. This is what the engine bay looks like without the transmission. Very much open. It's pretty cool looking. You can see the transmission was leaky down there, so that'll be fun to clean up. Here is the cheap Chinese short throw shifter that was in there. It's missing all the bushings too, which doesn't help with the clunky shifter issue. I think I'll just buy a brand new one just a cheap one off eBay, just so it has the bushings with it, because I can't afford a real good one. Yeah, got all the bolts here, but this piece of metal was jammed behind there inside the housing, and so was this part of the spring. So that was just keeping it from actually working right. Lots of different pieces there. So yeah, got the transmission out. We're working on that. I might have recorded it. I took the headlight off, just inspecting it to see what all's bent, what needs to be fixed here. The good one's still on there, but the bad one's out. And yeah, probably need to do some cleaning in here. I'm gonna clean the rest of the transmission, but it's kind of what I'm getting done today. Alright, so flip the transmission over. I'm gonna start cleaning the underside of it. These are the transmission mounts. As you can see, no good. Get those replaced. And then this main bolt goes through to this guy, and this is the other bushing for that, which is just completely removed. So which explains why my shift knob was vibrating all the time. So yeah, getting all new ones of those three guys. It's gonna be very nice. Went ahead and pressure washed it, hit some degreaser, and used the wire brush, and it's looking pretty good. It's dirty in some spots, but I think it's good enough. I'll be under the car anyways, so I don't think anybody really cares. But yeah, good stuff. This is the interesting part. This is all the shifting linkage in here. So as you can see, I got that spring back in there. You can see where it like curves around up top there. That's how that's supposed to be. To get it out, you have to like put the car in gear and then hammer this little pin out. Some cars have a bolt, which would be a lot easier. But you hammer that pin out with like a screwdriver or a drill bit or something. So you hammer that out, then this whole entire block comes off. You can put the spring on, you can put it back on, hammer the pin back in. It gets a little complicated. There's some write-ups on the Rx-7 forum about that. And then, it's pretty dark, but there's one of the shifter bushings goes down under there. And now the interesting part about the shifting linkage here is this little cap here. Underneath that there's a spring, and then a little like rod that's in there that has like some steps to it. It's weird. I'll get it undone so I can show you. But that has like a rod with some steps and a spring that pushes it up and down. And then under this guy there is a spring pushing down with a ball bearing. So when you're turning the shifter back and forth, wiggling it, that pushes that spring up and down with that little rod block thing. And then that ball bearing is pushed into that, which kind of resists that springing and keeps it centered. I'll take it all apart so you can see what I mean here. I took that little plate off. You can see this spring in here. You want to be careful not to lose any of this stuff. It is very tiny. Make sure you don't want to lose that ball bearing. I'm trying to get it out with a magnet, but it's just too far down. And then on the underneath here, you can see the ball bearing moving down. I'm trying to keep track of it. But this is what I was talking about with that little plate. So that comes out. This is pushed up with the spring. Goes against the gear linkage up top there. See, it's kind of sludgy. I tried cleaning all that out, but I guess it's still a little dirty. So this goes up and down. That ball bearing, you can see where it's riding along there. And that's kind of the grooves that it falls into to keep it all kind of where it needs to be. I know this is a lot of just tiny nitpicky stuff, but figured while I have it out, might as well make a video on it. So that's what you guys get to watch. And got that ball bearing. I dropped this on the floor and I freaked out, but I found it, and I'm gonna leave it on this magnet because I know I'll lose it. Also, there is gear oil that goes in here. Keeps it all lubricated. You're supposed to pour just like a little on the bottom here to keep everything nice and smooth. These gaskets were super thin. They just shattered pretty much when I took the plate off. So I got some, I don't know where I put it. Here it is. Just some gasket material from the hardware store. Says oil, coolant, and gasoline. I'm sure it's not super important. There's no like real heat or pressure in here. Just something to seal up the edges. So I'll cut a custom gasket for this and this guy here. And then it should be all ready to bolt back together. I bought a shifter bushing kit off Atkins and this used stock shift knob. I've never really made gasket stuff before, but it looks pretty easy. I've seen a lot of people just kind of take this stuff and then hit it with a hammer along the edges, which cuts the paper for you. And then they use like little ball bearings for the holes, or they just kind of like cut them out with a knife. So I'm going to try that on this and try that on there, and that should be all I need. This has a little crush washer. I could make one for that, but like I said, this is all like, there's no like pressure in there. It's not a lot of liquid, it's not hot, so I don't really care. Alright, check this out. So, got this gasket made for this guy here. It's pretty nice. And then this guy, it's backwards. The guy lines right up with the holes. Yeah, I think these actually turned out pretty good. Yeah, it's handy for the screw holes. You just line it up. I took that same ball bearing that was in there, put it on there, and then just kind of hammered it in there. Just broke the very edge of that. Same with this one. And then for the outside and inside edge, I just held it up against there and then just tapped it with a sharp edge here until it broke. So, now I can finally put those on. Alright, so got all the gaskets on there, got the fluid in there, all the parts are back in. Got all the new bushings up inside that guy there. Got it all greased with gear oil. And it's feeling pretty nice. As you can see, push it to the side, goes back to the center. Same thing the other direction. It's a little stiff, which apparently is just how these this type of linkage is. It's hard to get without moving the transmission, but yeah, put it to the side, it goes back to center. So that's what all that effort was for. So, shifter's finally good. Amazing.